from past studies, you're going to realize that now I'm going to break the words into smaller sentences or verses and let you read them as they go along. So use your pause button. And again, as you've noticed that when you read them, there seems to be these two verses that go together to make a smaller paragraph. So let's go through and try to group them. As you notice, those were starting to read very well when they're you see them grouped together. Here we can see that this one's going to need another verse from the next text. So now I'm going to add red words to just start pointing out what I've added. Here we're going to see that I've added the word for. I added the word Jesus. I added the word Jesus here. I added people here to understand that he came to his own people, and that instead of just understanding that they were meaning his own, like I said, the bloodline was very important, so the writer would have said his own people. I added the word yet here. Now this is one of them dangerous times when I'm adding words like I complain about the NSAB adding words to make it read better. This one is rare. It does happen. I'll go on here and explain that replace the word him for Jesus, and then in the study, the way I do it, I realize now that I like the word for here. When we start reading this, we can see that there's two verses that hook together here, and actually we've talked about this before where I talk about his word could mean God's word. So if we add the S here, we could add from the above text or verse, original verse, to the lower verse meaning God's word. Then we ended up having a space, because then we understand that God's word is actually Jesus, and then he became flesh. So I put a space in here that these two could become a small paragraph group, just as the word dwelt and beheld hook these verses together. And then down here I added the word his, graces and truths, because this is what Jesus received from his Father to show us here on earth. What I did here is I added the word Jesus, took out the word this. It just has a better understanding, and it would be more the way that John would say it if they approached him and said, "We thought you were the prophet," and he had said not only that this is he would have pointed to Jesus and said, "No, Jesus is he who I'm talking about, who would come after me." Then I added the word his grace again down here, and then Christ was actually the fulfillment of the law, so I took out the word for and added like the word was given through Moses. I went to add the word his graces here. Now the word realized, I didn't go through all the Bibles to find out whether this is what they did to change the text so they would be able to own the copyrights, but it reads better that his graces and truths appeared through Jesus, his Christ. So we're going to get rid of the word realized and the word appeared. through, because appeared through Jesus' Son. He was working miracles and trying to show that his miracles were works done through him by the Father. Here we have a verse that does not have any connection with the verses above or below. And then when you read down here, we know that this has the meaning that Jesus has been received into heaven again, so he is now in the bosom of our Father. The following text we're going to go in and talk about that actually doesn't really connect with the verses above, and if you read more text of John, you would see that these words can be grouped with the next story in the Bible. Yes, he has explained him, but it looks like they needed this to connect with the text above and try to mesh them together and then go on. So those that do study and continue this study, you'll find that all I'm doing is crossing these out, meaning that they don't belong in the actual new chapter 1, but this would be the start of chapter 2. So let's go here and show how these two groups actually end up being small paragraphs, well connected, as one defines the other, such a style that the writer shows that he has a skill and quite the understanding. And as you read here in this set, you'll find that the style doesn't match when it says nor and nor begin, as we've read through here, that you'll understand that the writer at no time did this. So I would say that this is something that would have been added. It also does not make sense to me, nor the will of the flesh or the will of man was able to create God, or create Jesus, more or less. So what I did do here was, as I pointed out before, this would be a great way to split these and still understand, as long as we understand that God's Word is Jesus, who became flesh. And then down here we have the next connection, dwelt and beheld. Here what I'm going to change here is from the word full to filled. Get rid of with, and then put the word with in here. So filled with his graces and truths. He was not full of them, he was filled with them. And this is the Son connected to the Father. I'll stop here and we'll show you the next text, or the next study. What we're finding here is that when you actually reread the verses over and over and over now, that you're going to find that the writer had a style to write. And what you're going to find out is that this hidden format has been hidden a long time. And this is, some people say, well, if you've seen God, show me a miracle. Well, excuse me, I think this is something that should stun you a little bit by showing you the hidden pattern and actually showing you how you can prove that there's errors in the Bible yourself. We notice that no man can see God has very much stepped out as meaning that somebody added text here. Yes, nobody has really seen God in his fullness, but we understand that at this time that John did see God as light.